Jonathan was appointed CEO of Lloyd's Europe in December. But if I look actually at his background, it's very impressive. He started his career with Ernst & Young and then joined Lloyd's in 2006, where he clearly had a number of very senior roles, including as a CFO and COO for the China region. Actually, should maybe join one of our Asia events. There's one in India actually next week to make a bit of an advertisement on that one. But also Lloyd's global CFO and global COO, leading the international network. And I think the fact that you've now been appointed CEO for Lloyd's Europe indicates how important Lloyd's Europe is for the group as a whole after having had such global roles. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, Jonathan. Can you hear us, Jonathan?
Yes, I can. Thanks, Nick.
Oh, good. Apologies. So maybe to start off, it'd be interesting to kind of hear from you a little bit on what you see at the moment, the landscape in insurance, before we go into the tech and fintech space more specifically.
Sure, Nick. And firstly, I just want to say it's a real pleasure to be able to join you and all of the delegates online. So as we look at the world today, what is plain to see is the sheer level of uncertainty we are facing, from economics to politics, from climate change to cultural change. There is a host of pressing issues that are forcing us all to rethink how we do things. So we've been in that environment for a few years now. But what is surprising is that there has only really been 2 or 3 times in history where global uncertainty has matched the level it is today, usually around times of conflict or revolution. And while the last few years have taught us not to try and predict the future, even for those of us in insurance, from where we see it at Lloyd's, we think there's a real opportunity to convert that uncertainty into the resilience, innovation, and collaboration that can help society become better protected against unforeseen events, which, when you get down to it, is ultimately what insurance is all about. It's what we are here for. So we think that opportunity is particularly clear in Europe. For Lloyd's, Europe has always been a hugely important region for us. We've been supporting customers here since we started 330 years ago. And for the last 5 years, we've been operating as a fully established, locally regulated insurance company, Lloyd's Europe, headquartered in Brussels. So our focus has been to act as an additive player in the European market, offering our capacity, our connections, and our expertise where they're needed most, to help protect people and communities across the continent in collaboration with, not competing with, the established domestic market here in Europe. And as we look to provide for those needing protection, a number of opportunities to collaborate stand out.
Thanks. Good. Apologies. You referred to the fact that you I call it you're an additive partner. You kind of supplement some of the other providers in the insurance sector. How does that work, and what obstacles do you see in Europe to using that model at the moment?
Sure. Well, I think from our perspective, I think Europeans face a number of significant protection gaps, arguably more in other regions. And the reasons can be found in both supply and demand. But Lloyd's, thanks to its expertise and long-standing experience, is already delivering innovative solutions to address the problems of the future. But to address systemic risks, such as cyber or climate change, and to close the protection and the capacity gaps, we do need to consider how we can incentivize allocation of capacity and underwriting expertise to help plug this gap and support the success of the capital market union that many would like to see materializing. So if you take cyber, for example, Europe accounts for just 1/6 of global cyber premiums, with an estimated protection gap as high as 90%. So EIOPA has reported that the European cyber market is expected to double in size from where it was in 2020 to 2025. And with most cyber insurance being written in the US, or on behalf of US firms, there really is room to bring the risk home and offer more localized specialist risk protection. So if we can continue innovating within my industry and taking tangible steps like improving data quality and accessibility. Also, the cost and frequency of these attacks are increasing. We do need to find ways to make sure people and organizations are protected fast and en masse. And given around 1/5 of global cyber insurance is written at Lloyd's, including through innovative cover developed in our Lloyd's Lab incubator, we're really keen to help build cyber resilience in Europe. We want to partner with governments, security agencies, and others building that resilience against attacks. The losses from cyber cannot be borne by capacity from one part of society alone. So we really do need to work together to understand and pull that risk. The views of wholesale customers, specialty insurers, capital providers are all going to be important to make sure we grow the European and global market in a considered, sustainable way. If we can, we'll have better protected businesses and societies as a result.
Thank you. I'm delighted that you now refer to cyber insurance.
Yeah.
Petra, the chair of IOPA, will come and cover part of that as well in the survey that you've just referred to about the insurance gap. And that brings us maybe to the theme of the conference itself, which is FinTech. What opportunities do you see for Lloyd's as an established financial market and insurance company for Europe in the use of FinTech? What opportunities do you see?
Sure. So, I mean, FinTech is really exciting. And it's key to helping insurance companies and policyholders in addressing the challenges of the present and the future. And that's true in Europe as it is in any other part of the world. So within my industry, InsurTech is reshaping the landscape by infusing technology. So you have the integration of digital tools and AI, which is transforming the way risks are assessed and risk transfer solutions are developed. It also massively changes the way claims are handled. We see InsurTech picking up pace, addressing historical challenges in technology adoption within the insurance industry, within the insurance sector, sorry. What will, however, be surprising to most, as referenced in Atomico's annual report, is the fact the annual volume of founders starting new tech startups in Europe exceeds the US and has done so consistently every year for the last 5 years. That sheer volume of innovation and thought leadership coming out of Europe really deserves a spotlight. Belgian FinTech has so much to offer to the European and the global ecosystems.
I mean, you've already mentioned one of the ways FinTech is transforming the insurance sector, which is the role of analytics. But maybe go a bit more into how you see the transformation that FinTech will bring to the insurance sector.
Sure. So, I mean, demand is high globally due to the digital transformation going on. So I think when you look at retail consumers, it has reshaped how they wish to interact with finance and insurance companies. It's significantly different from when I started in the industry. Now, Lloyd's itself is a marketplace, so it's focusing on supply and meeting demand by providing specialty insurance solutions, a platform that can balance the need for advancing technology and at the same time securing a fair outcome for a wide range of sophisticated customers. The ways in which specialist underwriting expertise can be complemented with the latest technology advancements. So you're looking at AI innovations, algorithms, which will likely individualize risk selection and pricing. So customers can select risk transfer solutions based on a wider range of price points. And what we're seeing is a number of data-driven syndicates that are making it much easier for brokers to secure insurance for their clients. And then you've got the insurer Brit set up Google-backed KI, which was the first fully digital, algorithmically driven syndicate. So that reduces the amount of time and effort taken for brokers to place their flow capacity. You've then also got time flexible, event-driven, modular and adjustable coverage. So that can evolve to accommodate life stage, lifestyle and wellness changes among consumers. which particularly for retail clients will massively enhance the value that they get through the provision of tailored solutions for them. So some of that's already the norm in the wholesale markets, but for retail, that has huge potential to enhance value.
I couldn't agree more. It's interesting, while you were speaking just now, there was a slide up talking about the Lloyd's lab,
Yeah,
innovation lab, and I was part of that the last time around, autumn last year, I think, when you announced the winners. Maybe
sure.
you could say a little bit about the Lloyd's lab and, the newest kind of initiatives that you are pursuing under the Lloyd's lab.
Sure. Nick, we love talking about the Lloyd's lab. But I mean, the Lloyd's lab, it's an ecosystem that supports innovative insurtechs through a range of different innovation programs. I mean, as I said, we love talking about, we're incredibly proud of it here at Lloyd's because it really shows what our market does best, bringing people together to solve complex problems and find solutions to help people become braver, smarter, and more resilient. So we set up the lab back in 2018 to channel and accelerate the innovation of our marketplace. And we launched our accelerator program, which has won awards, which is fantastic to see. We've had 100 startups through it doors, €1 billion of capital raised for our alumni, and a 95% success rate, which is fantastic. And the teams working in that area, absolutely incredible. We've also, we've recently introduced regional themes with our most recent cohorts. So trying to enhance that collaboration between London insurtech sectors with the respective sectors within Europe, Asia Pacific, and also the US. So as part of this, we hosted an innovation event last July in Brussels, where insurtechs presented their solutions to a large audience composed of investors, insurers, risk managers, and regulators. But as the lab continues to progress, we want our innovation hub at Lloyd's to remain agile and help the market surmount current issues that we are facing by providing a structure for understanding knowledge and technology gaps and helping the market to plug them through Lloyd's wider innovation ecosystem. So to address this, last year we launched the Lloyd's Lab Challenge, so to focus on specific problems over longer time periods. And our inaugural task is currently focusing on estimating insurance customer carbon emissions. So we're working in collaboration with Moody's Analytics, which has received significant market interest and collaboration across Lloyd's. But not only does the lab accelerate innovative startups and solutions, it's also committed to broadening innovative thinking within the global market. So to achieve this, we've established our Future Minds program, supporting a new generation of industry experts in how to transform new ideas into customer-facing products. So our ventures so far have explored topics such as intangible assets, energy transition, and most recently AI. So here at Lloyd's, we're really excited to see how the lab can grow and develop to support our mission to create a braver world. We've got big ambitions to do that across our network of experts within the insurance market and beyond.
Thank you. Actually, in preparing for this conference and speaking to you, we looked at the recent OECD paper called Leveraging Technology in Insurance to Enhance Risk Assessment and Policyholder Risk Reduction, a very interesting paper. That paper kind of sets out this concept of a FinTech valley, kind of a network of providers. How does that fit into this idea of the Lloyd's Lab?
I mean, firstly, I think this is great. To be honest, it's fantastic. At Lloyd's Europe, we're really supportive of the development of such FinTech valley in our home country in Europe. From a selfish point of view, we'd love it to focus on insurtech, but we can't have everything. And I mean, also, Belgium successfully developed ecosystems in the past. Insurtech is still an area in the making with significant opportunities to make a difference. So just as FinTech has forever changed banking, insurtech is revolutionizing the insurance industry. From mobile apps to deep learning algorithms, I talked about a moment previously, modern technology is really reshaping how our sector operates. And some of those insurtech innovations are still in their very early stages, while others have already become industry standards. So before long, many cutting-edge technologies that rely on the fringes today will likely see widespread adoption in Belgium, in Europe, and beyond. And I think when that happens, both insurers and insureds will massively benefit.
Thank you. I think having set out the opportunities of FinTech and given a sense of some of the activities that are emerging in the market, I would like to come to the second theme of our conference, which is regulation.
Sure.
And I would find it interesting to hear from you, what do you think, what would you like to see from regulators and supervisors in the FinTech space?
Sure. So, I mean, regulation is a key role to play. I think, people talk about sandboxes. I think it would be great to see a sandbox that allows fintechs and insurtechs to test innovative propositions in the market within a relatively safe and controlled environment. So within the sandbox, firms will have access to regulatory expertise and a set of tools to facilitate testing. Can consider whether there's a need to comply with the full range of regulatory requirements in that phase, so long as the firms share data about their products with the regulators. So successful sandboxes have been adopted throughout the world. I think more than 70 countries have adopted some form of fintech sandbox, as they found them a really helpful way of kickstarting a fintech ecosystem. So we are seeing countries that have started creating more tailored sandbox-like initiatives for insurtechs. In some cases, regulators have set up specific units to help startups navigate their way into the insurance sector, which is fantastic. I think one learning that's emerged from various different countries' experiments with the sandboxes is the next step. So it can be hard for startups to graduate from a sandbox. So once startups leave the relatively safe space of the sandbox, they sometimes struggle to quickly adapt to the normal market environment. That abrupt transition can make it very hard for them to scale up. So I know that the regulators are working on finding ways of helping sandboxes to scale up by providing additional support to sandbox graduates as they grow. A scale box, if you like. I think this again is fantastic to see. And I think one of the many ways in which regulators can help nurture a fintech ecosystem that supports the startups and the scale-ups. And there's so many different ways in which regulators can support fintech innovation. And it's fantastic regulators share their knowledge across the globe and their experiences with their colleagues in other countries. So to identify how best to foster an innovative financial ecosystem, whether this is through something formal like the Global Financial Innovation Network or through other mechanisms. I think it's just great the regulators are sharing that knowledge to really support this area.
I'm happy you raised this, Jonathan, because actually our conference started exactly with that theme on international cooperation by supervisors.
Yeah.
And the importance of that.
Key, absolutely key.
Exactly, which brings me to the last question, which is, you already gave the example of a sandbox, but how do we ensure that public policy intervention supports innovation and doesn't stifle innovation?
Well, I mean, as I said, I believe regulation and regulators have such a key role to play. Regulation can strengthen the country's competitiveness in areas such as fintech, as long as it is proportionate, based on accurate cost-benefit analysis, and also agile. And I know that regulators are keen to have early engagement with firms, especially those lending on innovation. And that's fantastic to see supervisors engaging with companies as they start on this journey. I think that's absolutely fantastic, to be honest. I think broader than that, I think on the sort of like it's a constant learning experience. So that sharing of knowledge across the different regulators, learning what their experiences have been, what the outputs, and then that can be applied to sort of pro-innovation policy making. Access to a skilled workforce, I think, is key as well. So attracting the talent from around the world, bringing the best companies and people together, it's got to be advantageous. And then from wider infrastructure, I think Belgium is already in a great position in terms of infrastructure, especially given the easy access to financial centres. So there's so many areas there.
You're absolutely right that Belgium sits in the middle of, I don't know, square, I sometimes say, with London, Amsterdam, Paris, and Frankfurt being the four angles of that square, and Belgium sitting in the middle of that.
Yeah,
so I totally agree with you, which makes it very interesting to be here, never mind all the regulatory policies which are going on. I'm delighted that you took the time out of your busy day to be with us. I think it's important to hear the voice of people from industry and what really can drive growth, innovation, and not just focus on the regulatory policy debate. So I really appreciate you taking a bit of time to be with us today, Jonathan. Really appreciate it.
No problem. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.